Alright, let's get this one over with. This season of Command Prompt opened up with the promised Sonic Story Ranking video, and in that video I admitted to never having played Colors because it never interested me. But I promised to give Colors a real look-see when the, at that point hypothetical, Sonic Colors re-release comes out. Fast forward to the Sonic Central event a few months later and that prophecy quickly turned into reality. I still don't have a whole lot of interest in this one from the gameplay I've seen throughout the years, but I thought, yeah, I should probably play this one anyway since it's considered one of the best modern Sonic outings by most. But now there's a whole new reason for my ambivalence. Media outlet reviews had been coming out stating that it was a pretty standard remake of a slightly above average Sonic game. Nothing out of the ordinary there, but those who pre-ordered the digital deluxe edition of the game received access 4 days early, and wouldn't you know, the next day Twitter was flooded with videos of glitches and bugs galore. Some even bad enough to cause seizures. It was a disaster seemingly out of nowhere. I have to see enough negative Sonic discourse as is, so I did my best to just tune that discussion out for a little while, at least until SEGA and the developers Flying Squirrel Games could clean up and try to squash some of the bugs. Meanwhile, the news came in that the main glitched video came from someone who was playing the Switch version via an emulator that caused a lot of the bugs to happen, so I just stopped looking at anything related to Ultimate after that point and waited until I could play the game for myself. So without any more drama or false problems, let's take a real look at Sonic Colors Ultimate.
4 hours later.
Okay guys, I just finished the game, and you have to now realize that I never played the original release. So if I say that I didn't like something that's only a problem in Ultimate, then you can correct me. But just as a quick baseline here, I can see I haven't really been missing out on much. As someone who's played the hell out of Generations and claims it to be one of my favorite Sonic games ever, and also someone who's recently gone back to Unleashed and enjoyed it a pretty decent amount, I didn't really find anything here to enjoy, sorry to say. The color powers aren't really new to me, seeing as how I've played Forces and Lost World, but they're fun enough as gimmicks. I think Laser and Spike have the most untapped potential for creative level layouts, but they weren't anything particularly special. The new Jade Wisp lets you fly through objects and collect a few red rings, but that's about it. The homing attack, double jump, slide, stomp, and boost are all here, but I don't know. Some of them just don't feel as graceful as they do in later titles. Not so much the homing attack here, if I'm being perfectly honest. I actually like the way you could charge it up here. It was much easier to get a grasp on than Lost World's charge circles. The basic jump has a weird arc to it that took some adjustment. The double jump always cut my momentum, which I don't like. The slide shoots Sonic forward if I slightly tilt the stick when crouched. I can't help but feel how Boost Sonic was given much needed refinement after this game. And speak of the devil, it's here in full swing, and my feelings haven't really changed from a few months ago when I looked at Sonic Omens. I'm still sick of the boost. I only really enjoy how you can use it in the air to shoot across long distances. It's not the worst thing ever, like it's a perfectly functioning mechanic, but it's just been done to death in this franchise and I'm ready for it to be retired. If I ever see another straight stretch with egg pawns and bowling pin formations, it'll be too damn soon. Levels are all a mixed bag. The likes of Starlight Carnival Act 1, Sweet Mountain Act 4, and Asteroid Coaster Act 1 were all great. I think they had a good mix of spectacle, platforming, and requirement of quick reflexes. But there are also some stages that I think would have benefited greatly from being combined or just put back in the oven. This game and Forces have the same problem of having stages that don't let you really get a feel for them. Exploration feels far more binary due to the overwhelming amount of two-dimensional platforming. There's no real freedom in the stages, and that hurts its replayability. Some of the bosses had cool concepts, but again, I think they can be taken care of too quickly. I got some challenging going for a few of the red rings, but that was about it. I don't really mind the game asking you to come back through after you have all the wisps unlocked. But what I don't like is when I can see a red ring and have the full intention of simply jumping backwards to grab it, but the level decides that it's no longer available. I could excuse this if it was done for the Wii to free up memory to load the next chunk of the level, but this shouldn't be a problem 2 generations of consoles in the future. And again, most of these problems aren't huge deals in the grand scheme of things, just doesn't mean they didn't get on my nerves. I've been listening to the Colors OST on its own for a number of years already. Aquarium Park, Sweet Mountain, and of course Planet Wisp are all standouts. But these new remixes that they replace some of them with are just dull. They lose the spirit of the original compositions by adding all these synthetic instruments, and that's when the soundtrack doesn't decide to just cut out when using a color power. I don't know what the deal with the audio mixing is here, but frankly it pissed me off. For the record, I can't stand for some things to be quiet while others are loud. Good equalization is a necessity to me, but inconsistent audio plagues this port. The volume for the voices are really quiet even when both sliders are evened out. So after I lowered the sound effects and music slider, which really should be separate sliders, it balanced the audio in the levels for the most part. But the cutscenes are still really quiet no matter how much I tinker with them. So I can hear the PA announcements better, but the cutscenes right after that level are so low. The story, the whole reason I promised myself I would play this game, it's okay. None of the jokes really made me laugh, but I can see that I'm clearly not the targeted demographic.
Yeah, well, I'm going to guess it wasn't ice cream shooting out of those generators.
If it was, I would get one for back home.
Dude, I'd get two.
Whoa! That was fun spinning around. Hey, a piano!
And it's over before you really know it. I mean, I would rather a Sonic story be on the shorter side of things, but this one just comes across as inconsequential. And of course, the moment you've surely all been waiting for. Yeah, the game doesn't function too great. Sonic decided not to load correctly here. I used the Spike Wisp to somehow get out of bounds here, and after it ran out, I was stuck and forced to restart the level. I used the Cube Wisp too close to a kill plane right here, I guess, and it locked me out of a death, forcing me to restart the stage. Sonic flew into the air right here, I don't think that was supposed to happen, and the game just flat out crashed right here. Look, you can already tell I didn't really have a great time with this game. Even with that being the case, I don't think I would blame that on the Ultimate Edition entirely. As I've already made clear, I'm personally bored of the style of game that Sonic Team is hopefully done making. I should stress again that there's nothing critically wrong with the game itself. How it's structured, I mean. It's a perfectly fine game that's obviously targeted towards children.
Uh-oh, that Switch just released some Eggman robots!
But I would not recommend you buy Sonic Colors Ultimate. These glorified time trials with a static model of Metal Sonic flying around the stage isn't a selling point. And these terrible cosmetics aren't a selling point either. At least DX had the common courtesy to give us missions and other small things, but if you're like me and have played Generations and Unleashed to death, then you'll only be taking steps backwards with this one. If you're looking for a new Sonic game to play, might I suggest some of the amazing fan creations that have been showing up instead of harping on about a half-assed port from an 11-year-old Sonic game. Project Rascal is incredible and such a fresh take on a speedy platformer. Honest to God, it feels like a 2D Sonic game brought into the 3D world correctly. Momentum-based gameplay takes center stage and is such a joy to control and play around with. It's just a demo, but it's a lot of fun. Sonic Rush 3D is exactly what it sounds like, but it's fun. I know I just said I'm sick of the boost, but come on. Who doesn't love low-poly HD assets? And there is some fun use of the boost here. I still stand by Sonic Omens, and I think they made something very special with that last demo release. Just don't lock demos behind money anymore, boys, please. Project 06 just had a new demo release, and it is amazing. It's basically a port/reimagining of Sonic 06 to the PC with quality of life enhancements and whatnot. Every character has been retooled and now feel like they belong in the adventure era. There's weight to all the characters' movements. Silver, oh my god, Silver. He's actually fun to play as now. He's much faster on the ground and all of his moves have seen improvement. They just added Shadow and he is unironically my favorite character in 06. But now he just feels so amazing. His combat actually has impact and is clear about when damage is being taken. And the Chaos mode has been made actually reliable and I love it so much. But yeah, that's all I care to say on the matter. There are just far more interesting and ambitious projects to give your attention to than this. But just because I didn't like the game doesn't mean you can't blah blah blah, don't yell at me in the comments. But anyway, I appreciate you for watching. So thanks for stopping by and have a great day.